I feel like if I need them, you need them as well if you're like into the whole HTV thing. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to talk about different accessories that I use all the time when it comes to HTV projects. I'm sure you've seen all of these mentioned in my previous videos, but I've never really talked about them individually. That's why I wanted to dedicate a video to these and just talk a little bit more about each. So all of these I feel like make my life super easier. They come super in handy and they're just a completely must-have accessory when it comes to any of my HTV projects. So I feel like if I need them, you definitely need them as well. So if you're curious to see what are my must-have HTV accessories, then let's get started. So first up on the list, we have this upper platen cover right here. This is meant to go on the platen of your heat press. So you just wrap your whole platen with this, and it has this elastic backing that just wraps around and just lets it stay in place. So this is meant to be used as protection between your platen and your HTV. As you know, when it comes to any HTV, you always have to cover it with something, whether it's a Teflon sheet or parchment paper or something. It always needs to be covered. If not, it's gonna like melt onto your platen. And this acts as that protection. If you're using a Teflon sheet, obviously each time you're gonna have to be putting the Teflon sheet every single project that you do. But if you have this cover right here, you don't have to do it each time because it's already going to be stuck on the platen itself, you know? So you don't have to keep putting it on and off each time because it's already going to be there. So that's why I like this one, because each time I don't have to take it in, take it out, put it in, put it out. Like, it's already there. So that's why I like this one, because it just stays there 24/7. It's just like always on there. So this completely makes life super easier because that's one less step that I have to do when it comes to any of my HTV projects, you know? So if you don't have a big heat press or you don't have a cover for it, obviously you still need something to protect it. So another thing that I like to use is a Teflon sheet. I use this all the time. This is what I was using before I even had one of these right here. So this comes super in handy when it comes to any handheld press, because obviously you need something to protect your HTV from, let's say, like your easy press. So I always use this because you just put it, press it, take this out, and then you're done. So that's why I like these. So if you don't have a platen cover on your heat press, just go ahead, get yourself a Teflon sheet. I like the way this protects. It's just super easy. I've been using this for the entire time that I've been playing around with HTV, and I've never had issues with this. So this is super in handy. You need something to protect your platen from your HTV, and I think this does a really good job at that. But I did want to mention that this Teflon sheet right here, it doesn't really have a texture, but it does have like a wave pattern going on. So let's say you were to press like your normal HTV, let's say you're layering. You press your first layer, you peel it off, you press your other layer, and then you peel it off, and let's say you want to go ahead and just press it all together one last time, and there's no carrier sheet on it. Since this does have a little bit of a pattern and then you do press over it, your HTV might come out with a little bit of a pattern because of this Teflon sheet right here. You can't really even tell, but I've noticed it before, especially on like the metal ones, because you know how metal, it's just straight up like flat, and the metals or the electric HTVs tend to be more sensitive. Like those type of HTVs are the ones that you're gonna really be able to tell this little texture going on. Like it's not that big of a deal, but you could just tell that there's some sort of texture. It's not like completely flat as if it had the carrier sheet to begin with, you know? Just wanted to mention that. Even though it does give a little bit of pattern, this Teflon sheet, game changer. I love it. When I'm not using the platen cover, I'm using this. So for all of my HTV projects, you're either gonna find me using a Teflon sheet or the platen cover for sure. Either or, nothing else, just those two. So another must-have for my heat press is this lower platen right here. So as you saw, the other one was for the upper platen, and this is for the bottom part where the t-shirts go. So this one once again has the exact same elastic backing, so it just stays into place. But the material for this one does seem to be a little bit more different. This one feels more slippery, and the fact that this one's slippery I think makes it better because you can easily just put your shirts in and out like super fast. You just put it and it just slides into place. The heat press itself does have like a rubberized section where you could put the shirts over it, like no issues there. But I feel like over time, little by little, that rubberized might get damaged or it'll get ruined. So I feel like with this cover right here, it'll last longer. Like the bottom part, the rubberized section will always stay brand new because it will be covered. That's why I like this one for that, because if this were to ever get damaged, I can just go ahead and buy a new one, you know, because at least I know that the heat press itself and like the rubberized part that it comes with won't get damaged because I could just go ahead and change this, you know. So I really like this. I feel like it protects the heat press. It makes the shirts coming in and out super easier. And obviously if you don't have a big heat press, you don't have a need for these lower platen covers, but you do need something to place your shirts if you're using like an easy press or a handheld press, and that's where these little guys come in handy. This pressing mat right here, this specific one is the one that I use all the time. This is a 12 by 14 I believe, and this one came in a package with my Wallapress Craft heat press. I just like this one because it's much bigger than the one I originally had. I also have this one right here. This one is is the Cricut pressing mat. This one is a 12 by 12. So this one is a little bit smaller than this one, which is why I tend to go with this one right here. I don't think you can buy this one individually, but I just like the size. It's just bigger, you know, and I just like having more space. So this one, I feel like if you're working with like an easy press or the small little mini press, I just feel like you want to put it onto something, you know, not just use your table, because then that could damage your table, you know. So that's why I like these pressing mats right here. They come in handy. They're small, but they're big enough to what it is that I need. Because if I'm not using my big heat press, whatever it is that I'm using, I'm just gonna use this. So that's why I like this one. I'm not exactly sure if they make bigger mats than this. I know they make smaller ones, but I feel like this one is a decent size. So definitely get yourself one of these if you're working with like an easy press, a mini press, any of that, because this is definitely a must-have when it comes to any HTV project. And another must-have definitely has to be a lint roller. I always use this with any t-shirt, any tote, anything that I'm using. This little guy picks up any dust, any dirt that is on the shirt, and sometimes you don't even realize how linty your shirt is until you do it. And even if it's just picking up small little lints here and there, at least you know that when it comes to like you putting down your HTV, that lint isn't gonna live under there, you know, because sometimes it has happened to me before. You press something, you peel it off, and then you just see a little lint just like sticking out of a certain area, and you just know half of it was pressed onto the shirt, and you're just like, ah, why didn't I pick it up with the lint roller, you know? So always make sure before starting any HTV project, pick up a lint roller, do it, just get out all the nonsense that you don't need, because this does come in handy. You could get these at the dollar store. This one in particular is from IKEA, but all of mine are from the dollar store, so you have no excuses. It's $1. Go get yourself one. You need it. Thank me later. Another must-have on my list, and I feel like the #1 must-have out of all the things that I'm listing here today, would have to be this acrylic t-shirt ruler right here. This one in particular is from Etsy. I'm not exactly sure if this particular one is still available, but there's so many on Amazon, on Etsy, just everywhere. You need one of these. So these t-shirt rulers right here have a curve down the center, which is meant to resemble the curve from a neckline of a t-shirt. And then it has some measurements that are from 3.5 inches to 1.5 inches, like whether you want your HTV to be 3 inches below or 1.5 inches below. So you get to choose whatever it is that you want. You just place it onto your shirt, just even it out. It has some sections on the side where it meets up with the collar, and then rulers towards the side, so you could even it out with the armhole seams, and just to try to make it as even as possible. And this for sure makes life easier. It makes your image centered and just takes away the guessing game on whether your graphic is Cricut or not. So if you're gonna pick up one thing out of everything that I'm listing, you need this, dude. I'm so glad I picked this up, because you need this. Must have right here. Must have. And last but certainly not least is this cooling block right here. This is meant to be used with cold peel HTV. So this, you just, after you press your HTV, and obviously you have to let it cool, instead of just letting it sit there and cool, you go ahead, take the marble part of it and just start rubbing it all over. And since the marble is cold, it's just going to speed up the process of you cooling it. So you just rub your HTV all over, rub it, rub it, rub it, and then it's going to get colder faster, so no more waiting. And then once it's cool, you just feel it. You see that it's cool, you just go ahead, peel off your HTV, and there you go. No more waiting. So this cooling block, it's just pretty much a marble block. Look at it. It's pretty much a marble block. The instructions do say you can put this in the freezer or the refrigerator and it'll make things even faster. I've never tried that. I just use it by itself, and just by it just chilling and I touch it, it's cold, so it does work. I'm interested to see how it is if I put it in the fridge, you know, so I will for sure have to try that next time. But yeah, this definitely does speed up the process. I don't have to just wait for the HTV there to cool like a whole 10 minutes, you know. I'll do this for like, let's say a minute or two and then done. So instead of waiting a whole 10 minutes, just 2 minutes. I got mine from heattransfersource.com, but I did find it on Amazon as well. So if you're a big Amazon purchaser, go ahead and get it there. Still the same thing, comes from the same place. So yeah. But like I mentioned, it's pretty much just a marble piece, you know, but it definitely does make life easier. So if you're a big HTV user, you definitely use this, because you never know if you're going to need a cold peel HTV, you know. So if you have this, it's going to speed up the process, and who doesn't love just going through a project really fast, you know? No one has time to wait a whole 10 minutes for something to cool, you know? So you definitely need one of these. And those were all my must-have HTV accessories. I feel like all of these make my life easier. So if you want to make your life easier when it comes to all of your HTV projects, definitely look into all of these. All of these will be linked down below, so definitely check them out if you're curious. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to leave me your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and yeah, I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.